Hey y'all, so today I am going to answer your burning question. How long does one jar of Savvy Minerals foundation last me? I have gotten so many questions about that, and I've been a little bit hesitant to answer that because I was testing it out in the beginning, and I was doing makeovers for friends and things. So I felt like my very first jar wasn't really a good judge of how long it was going to last. And then in my second jar, my skin started improving, so I was using less, and I wanted to kind of see if that continued. But I feel like I can give you at least a good idea of how much I'm using now. So in this video, I'm going to show you how much foundation I actually use per application to achieve this look, and then I'll also talk about how long I've kind of gone through a jar, my jars of Savvy Minerals foundation. Yes, I said jars. So if you are one of those ones who've been dying to know how long this stuff lasts, then keep on watching. I'm going to tell you right now. So I'm going to do my two-step application process, which I've demoed in another video. I start by making a little bit of a tinted moisturizer using the Savvy Minerals, and then I build the coverage using the misting spray and a brush. So that is my favorite way to apply Savvy Minerals. I feel like I get amazing coverage that way and the finish that I like. However, if you don't want to do the tinted moisturizer step, you just want to go in with the brush and the spray, that's totally fine. I would just say make sure that you prep your skin with a good hydrating base first. But I'm going to start by making the tinted moisturizer, and I'm just going to show you I have about that much in the cap there. It's a pretty generous amount. And to that, I'm going to add a bit of moisturizing ingredients. You can use whatever you like. It's really just up to your preference. So I've got a little bit of sunscreen in there, a little bit of a hydrating moisturizer, and then a few drops of jojoba oil. And I'm just going to blend all of that together. I have a complete demo video on my two-step process, so I'm just going to quickly zoom through this. I'm going to take a slightly damp beauty sponge, and I wrung it out really, really well. I'm just going to take a little bit on the sponge, and I'm going to lightly apply that to the center of my face because that's where I need the most coverage. I already applied some minerals as concealer under my eye, so I'm being careful to avoid that spot. But I do have a video on concealing if you want to see how I do that. You can check that out. It's in the Savvy Minerals step-by-step series. I have a playlist created for that. Now I'm not going for full coverage with this tinted moisturizer step. I'm really just kind of going for about 80% coverage with this. Then I'm gonna build on top of that. Okay, so I've used up all of my tinted moisturizer. Now I'm gonna take about that much, which is really not much less than I started with for the tinted moisturizer, and the foundation brush. This is the one that comes in the Savvy Minerals brush kit. Misting spray, and I'm going to spray it about 3 times, dip into the minerals, tap off the excess, and I'm going to start by patting in circular motions over the areas where I need the most coverage. And you see that it gets to full coverage pretty quickly. That hydrating base and the misting spray and the patting motion really helps to build coverage pretty quickly. I don't need a whole lot on my forehead, so I just give it a light dusting. Make sure that you go down your jawline if you have one, so that you don't have, a line of demarcation and it blends into the rest of your skin. And then with the last little bit of foundation that I have left, I like to just run it where my concealer and foundation meet to blend it in together. I'm going to finish up my face, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how long this all lasts. Okay, so 2 last steps to finish my skin. I go in with a little Diamond Dust on Alejandro here, right through my T-zone, and then I give myself a good spritz with the misting spray for no other reason really than I just love the way that it smells. So that's my skin finished, and I love this finish, y'all. I love how it's just slightly glowy. but the coverage is there, and I just feel like my skin looks really radiant and healthy. And yeah, it just makes me super happy. So now to talk about how much I actually use. I showed y'all in the cap how much minerals I used to get this level of coverage. My skin is not as good as it has been over the past couple of weeks because I ran out of Savvy Minerals and I started having to use other foundations, and my skin just didn't like it as much. So I do need a little bit more coverage today than I have been needing. However, this is how many jars of Savvy Minerals foundation I have. This one's completely empty. This one has about one more use out of it, and then this one is my new one that's completely full. So, so since it launched, since I got my first one towards the end of June, this is how many I've used or I'm using. This first jar I went through in about 4 weeks, and there was 2 reasons for that. Number one, my skin was not great. Y'all saw, if you look at my very first foundation video, you see how red my skin was, and I had to use multiple layers to achieve full coverage with this. So I went through this jar pretty quickly. I also did makeovers on 2 friends, so I used a little bit more than I would normally for me, and I was using it as concealer as well. So I did blow through it super quick. This second jar has, and I took a week off because I was running really low, and so I was kind of saving it. This second jar lasted me about 6 or 7 weeks. My skin had improved, so I didn't need quite as much, and I didn't do any makeovers on anyone using my own products, so it lasted me a little bit longer. I'm hoping that this one will last me a little bit longer, maybe moving on to like 8 or 9 weeks, because my skin has been improving since I've been wearing this every single day, and introducing a few other Young Living products into my skincare. So I have my fingers crossed that this jar will last me a little bit longer. Now let me just throw in a few little caveats here when I'm talking about how long one of these jars lasts. Keep in mind that I wear medium to full, mostly full coverage at a minimum 6 days a week. And according to the website, this foundation is formulated for sheer buildable to full coverage, which means that this has less pigment in it than if you were to go to a store and buy a foundation that was formulated for full coverage. You can achieve full coverage with this. You're gonna have to use more. And it is super buildable, and it doesn't, and you can achieve full coverage by using more product without it looking super makeup-y or feeling super makeup-y on your skin, which is amazing. The downside of that, of course, is that I will use up one of these considerably more quickly than somebody who doesn't need full coverage and or doesn't wear makeup every day. I've talked to some ladies who used this foundation when it was under the Sweet Savvy Minerals line, and these are ladies that only wear makeup if they're going out somewhere, so just a couple times a week, and they don't need full coverage because they don't have the skin issues that I have, and this jar lasted them several months. So it really, how quickly you go through one of these really depends on how much coverage you need and how frequently you wear makeup. I feel like I'm kind of an extreme case. So the least amount of time that one of these would last you is 4 to 6 weeks, depending again on how much coverage you need and how often you wear makeup. But having taken a week off, even a foundation from another non-toxic brand, my skin reacted immediately. So bearing those things in mind, you know, how quickly you finish off one of these jars really depends on the level of coverage that you need and how often you wear makeup. For me, I need full coverage, and I wear makeup at a minimum 6 days a week. So I'm gonna go through one of these jars considerably more quickly than somebody who just needs, you know, light coverage and only wears makeup a couple times a week. That's just math, you know? For me, if your needs are similar to mine, I would plan to have one of these on your ER order every month until we can start redeeming points for this and placing quick orders, you know, as necessary. At least that's what I'm going to do, because I don't want to run out of this. It literally is the best foundation that I've ever used, not just because of performance or the way that it looks or feels on my skin, but because it has improved my skin so much. I just posted a skincare video showing a before and after photo of my bare face before I started using Savvy Minerals, and then my bare face after 2 months of using Savvy Minerals, and the improvement was incredible. So I'm going to make sure that I never run out of this, but I'm also going to hope and pray that Young Living will release a more pigmented version of this, so that those of us who need medium to full coverage can get a little bit more mileage out of one of these jars of foundation. Those are my thoughts on how long a jar of Savvy Minerals foundation will last you. I hope that you found that helpful. If so, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and leaving me a little comment below. That would be great. You could also subscribe so you don't miss any future uploads, and hit the little notification bell down there so that you'll be alerted whenever I upload a new video. You can also find me on Facebook at Savvy Girls Guide, or Instagram at SavvyGirlsGuide_YL. I'd love to chat with you there too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.